The last days of a popular store, Safeway, and Trader Joe's rival to close in a major city, San Francisco, after rampant shoplifting. This is one of the few articles that you're going to see where they come right out and say, hey, yep, facing an uphill battle with all of the profits walking straight out the front door of this particular store. What's going on in Fisherman's Wharf? What's going on in San Francisco? Let's jump on into it. Let's find out what's going on. Here we go. San Francisco has been forced to say goodbye to a popular supermarket after claims of shoplifting and increased competition drove the location to shut down. Increased competition. What exactly does that mean? To me, this is one of those deals where it's like, we've got this increased competition, meaning there's other stores nearby. Now, have they been increasing their competition, or are they just kind of there? Or a lot of grocery stores coming into this area? It doesn't seem like that's the case, does it? No, this is corporate speak for, we've got some shenanigans going on that we don't really want to outwardly identify. Because if we do, well, geez, it's not good for San Francisco. Everybody knows what the deal is, right? You got a bunch of drug addicts running around, stealing stuff, and then selling stuff in these open air drug markets and these open air stolen good markets. San Francisco is just loaded up with them right now, right? They're just loaded up with them. And city officials are like, we don't really know what to do. Therefore, we're not going to do anything. And that's what's going on. And that's why you've got this stuff, shoplifting, organized retail theft. I mean, just taking stuff from everybody, has become just the norm. I don't know how many news stories we've seen coming out of San Francisco, but this is what happens. And particularly to retail, this is what happens when you decriminalize shoplifting to the point where there's really no repercussions for doing it. You decriminalize drugs. That's okay. Everybody has access to their drugs. And you get caught with a, personal possession amount of drugs. We're not really going to do much to you. You're going to be fine. Maybe we'll encourage you to go to rehab. Maybe we'll go down that road. But jail you? No, we're not going to do that. Rehab for real? No. And then you've got stores that are like, hey, they're stealing all our stuff. It's literally walking out the front door in that infamous 5-finger discount. Stores can't stay open. So even San Francisco, located near Fisherman's Wharf, I think Fisherman's Wharf is, it has been cool in the past. Right now, today, that whole area's got issues, right? You got a bunch of nut jobs running around. Literally, you've got nut jobs running around. And then all the people hopped up on drugs that are just stealing stuff left and right. You got homeless people basically hanging out everywhere. It's kind of the perfect storm for these stores, even a grocery store. The community of North Beach is losing its only full-scale grocery store with late-night hours as the local Safeway prepares to close its doors. This is interesting. This is a straight-up, just full-on grocery store. And they're like, can't do it. Got to close down. Another thing that I have seen lately is the decision by corporate, whether it's a Walmart or a CVS or a Walgreens, is corporate analyzing these stores from the standpoint of, okay, we want to keep this store open because we know it's in an area. A lot of the community will benefit from having the store open. That's not really how they think, but what they think is, corporate anyway, is how can we remain in business and not lose our shirts because everything's being stolen and walking out the front door. Retrofitting. Retrofitting is a way that these stores can stay in business with additional security protocol. But some of these, the physical structure of these stores lends itself to that. Some of these stores, corporate is just like, okay, we're having a crap ton of stuff. And that's a technical business term, by the way. Crap ton of stuff going out the front door. Can we make some adjustments security wise? Can we make some adjustments to the flow of the store? Can we make these moves and things will get better because we'll be protecting our asset, which is the food items or whatever goods in the store. Some locations, you simply can't do that. So shoplifting is still, the major consideration. And I don't care what you say about a lot of these stores. Shoplifting is oftentimes the underlying factor of why they'll close one down. They'll open up a new one over here. Yeah. What's the flavor of the month on crime at this other store? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it located in a town that maybe didn't defund their police? Is it located in a town that, didn't go down all this decriminalization stuff where they don't encourage, living wherever you want willy-nilly urban style in a tent? Those are some of the things that corporate obviously is taking a look at. But one of the heavy ones is, can we retrofit the structure of this store? Can we make it safer? Can we make it more shoplifting proof? And oftentimes in an older building, maybe it's a building that the original purpose wasn't necessarily a grocery store. We see that fairly often, but some kind of store. Maybe corporate decides, nope, can't do it. We're going to shut her down. So you've still got the shoplifting component. That is what's that's what's driving all of this, right? Is that, not only do you have retail apocalypse, but boots on the ground, you got too much stuff being stolen. And so when corporate goes to make those decisions, these are pretty easy calls to make. And the fact that this is a grocery store, I find that interesting that they're identifying, you just got massive amounts of shoplifting going on. The store couldn't compete with the nearby Trader Joe's, leaving North Beach with limited options to purchase groceries. Is a Safeway ever really trying to compete with a Trader Joe's? I don't think so. And hear me out. Trader Joe's carries mostly their own products. That's where I happen to shop. I do not shop at Safeway. Not because it's terrible. I just like the whole experience at Trader Joe's better. It's fewer stuff. They're smaller stores. I can get around in them. I don't have to go 85 different, aisles to try and figure out where I'm at. It's like, all right, you got one choice of peanut butter, maybe two, salted or unsalted. You've got, a little bit of choice as far as that goes. You go to Safeway. I mean, you're going to be looking at half of an aisle of peanut butter. Like, okay, I don't even really know what I want. I'll just go with some organic, whatever it is over here. Adams organic peanut butter. At Trader Joe's, you don't have those options. So it's just a different shopping experience, right? You also, at Trader Joe's, you don't have all of the non-food goods. Trader Joe's that's not really their thing. You want to get laundry detergent or dishwasher soap, detergent, whatever it is. Yeah, Trader Joe's isn't your place. You might be able to find it, for that one emergency time. Oh my gosh, I forgot I need that. But it's not like you're going to stock up at Trader Joe's for those types of items, right? So it's basically just food. So the fact that Trader Joe's, this article is saying Trader Joe's was competition. Nah, that's not true. There is a Trader Joe's nearby, but, from what I have heard, fewer people shoplift at Trader Joe's because they got less stuff. They mainly got groceries, right? Yeah, they've got some other stuff, but if you think about Trader Joe's, you walk in, okay, you got flowers, resale flowers for your drug money. All right, you got meat, but even the meat at Trader Joe's is smaller portions, right? Smaller. That's not their thing. That's not what they do. You're going to steal some bread and try and go, hawk that to get your fentanyl pills. Maybe, but Safeway, they got all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, they got the big selection. You could take any one of different goods and go sell that. I was in a mini mart this weekend over in Seattle. I know. Yeah. Hanging out in Seattle. I was in the University of Washington district. And I went in and I needed to get batteries because I was labeling a bunch of remote controls on my boat that apparently we have to have 800 remote controls for various devices throughout, boat and my dock house. And so I'm looking to get some AAA batteries. Going to a mini mart. I'm like, yeah, they don't have them. What mini mart doesn't have batteries? Well, one, that is located across the street from Rosie's Village, which is a homeless tiny home community. And, as I'm in the parking lot, this used to be one of my favorite mini marts to go to and get gas. It's a Shell gas station one in the University of Washington district. It's been there forever. But, was it yesterday or the day? Yeah, it was yesterday. I roll up and there's used toilet paper, numero dos, in the parking lot. And I'm just like, oh, could have gone all day without seeing that. That's just gross. And then they didn't have batteries. And you're like, all right, yeah, there's a lot of shoplifting going on here. Because batteries, those are expensive. You can get some money out of those retail because batteries, everybody needs them. Does Trader Joe's even carry batteries? Probably. Do they? I don't even know. Store manager Christopher Benitez told the San Francisco Standard, the company evaluates the store, and if it doesn't make sense to keep one open, they don't. But what is the criteria, right? I mean, that's what everybody wants to get to. But if you do enough deep dive research, it's not that this location, they're not selling stuff. They are. It's just that they are, in addition to selling a lot of stuff, they're also having an incredible amount of stuff shoplifted, right? So that's the overriding factor. You can't control that shoplifting, then boom, store gets closed down. Look at how many Walmarts we've covered. I think I'm pretty much done with my Walmart run. Man, they're closing a lot of stores, and they're almost all stores in Democrat-run cities that has a soft on crime approach, that has a soft on drugs approach, that has a decriminalize everything approach. And it's just made shoplifting, crime doesn't pay. Oh, it does. It's paying right now. And you know who's ultimately paying? The people that are ultimately paying are those in the community that don't have cars, that can't get around that easy, the elderly, because their stores are being shut down through no fault of their own. They lived their life. They paid their taxes. They did all the right things. Maybe they raised grandkids, but now they're in an apartment somewhere where they can't get around as well. They're not able to drive or don't have a car. These are the folks that are being impacted left and right. And these are the ones that you're hearing talk about. And they're like, what's going on? There's no grocery stores left. I'm in a food desert. And that's happening. That's happening a bunch. Benitez added the decision came from corporate and was based on financial reasons. Well, whenever you hear financial reasons talked about, that is code word for shoplifting. Let's be honest. You might have some other stuff in there, but when it's in San Francisco, a grocery store near Fisherman's Wharf in a community, it's the North Beach community. When you've got a grocery store, when you've got, Trader Joe's in the area and you can't make a go of it, what do you got going on? Well, you got shoplifting that is just rampant. I mean, we all know it. I mean, and we all know that San Francisco is the poster child for everything that's kind of gone wrong that, will go wrong when you have policy that reflects a total, let's defund the police, greatest concept ever, and all this other stuff, the whole go woke, go broke thing. It's literally leaving stores like Safeway going, yeah, you know what? We're going to shut this one down. Walmart shutting down last two stores in Portland. Another prime example of what happens, get woke, go broke. You're going broke. And you know what? Walmart's not going to go broke. Safeway's not going to go broke because they got other stores that are making money. It's just that these ones, unfortunately for the folks in these communities, these stores are gone. They're gone. The North Beach Safeway employs 65 people, all of whom have to transfer. The North Beach Safeway employs 65 people, all of whom will have to be transferred once the store officially closes on May 27th. All this stuff about, well, we want to keep our employees happy. Yes, but you're operating in a community where all bets are off in shoplifting. So I don't really blame corporate. This is just a reaction to a business decision. And that decision is we still need to make money for our corporate shareholders, meaning the investors in the company. Yeah. And it could be everyday investors like you and I. Do you hold some Safeway stock? Do you hold some whatever, parent company, a Trader Joe's stock? That's how this works, right? And if those stores don't make enough money, boom, they get whacked. And that's what's going on in San Francisco. The decision comes after Safeway struggled to combat shoplifting. They're coming right out and stating it, right? The supermarket reduced hours at several stores in hopes of deterring crime. Because it's interesting, especially the drug-related crime. It happens in dark, right? You got some of it happening during the day, people ramping up to get their next pills, but so often it happens under the cover of darkness, doesn't it? It just does. These people aren't absolutely stupid. They're mostly stupid. People doing all the shoplifting and buying all the drugs. Yeah, they're whacked out of their mind most of the times, but they're not absolutely brain dead stupid. That happens when they're on the drugs, right? And you see them just all hunched over. We're seeing more and more. I'm going to go on a little bit of a different tangent here. We are seeing more and more stories about Trank, which is xylazine, being in different communities. We're seeing more indications of overdoses, not only on the West Coast, but also on the East Coast. I'm seeing a story like that pop up just about every day. And, city officials in the streets where it's happening, they're like, okay, brace yourselves. This is a coming. You guys need to be ready, because when this hits, because everybody has seen what Trank or xylazine does to, members of the community. It literally rots your body out from the inside. And oftentimes people will either have amputations or they'll have, kind of surface surgery to take off these massive sores that are created by taking xylazine. It's a big animal tranquilizer, and it's got some horrific side effects. And that's why you'll see so many, crutches and wheelchairs and people hobbling around and, without a foot or missing a leg or whatever in Pennsylvania, in Kensington Avenue in Pennsylvania. And in the case of Kensington Avenue, we've been watching this for a while. But now the Trank and the xylazine, it's starting to spread out. It's going to go coast to coast if it's not there already. And, it's a super, super strong, basically sedative. And so xylazine isn't, or Trank isn't from the opioid family. So it doesn't respond to Narcan. You can't just pop somebody up. They're just, they're going to go down that road and it may not be good. The Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin assured the San Francisco Chronicle that the community was not a food desert and that there were grocery stores nearby. Okay, yeah, everybody kind of knows that what's left in their community, right? But you are seeing, with the whole retail apocalypse happening right now, you are seeing fewer and fewer stores in areas where that has been a trend. And it's because the shoplifting just doesn't go away on its own. The people on drugs that are addicts, they don't miraculously, when a store leaves, they don't miraculously just stop. That's something that comes up all the time in the online discussions, right? In the live chats, whether it's, live stream or every Monday through Friday, I am typically on, I'm in a premiere with you guys, and we talk about stuff all the time. So if you want to see me Monday through Friday, I'm typically at the 9 a.m. premiere. So we premiere 2 videos a day, Monday through Friday, one at 9, one at 11. And those are Pacific Coast times, Seattle times. So if you want to hang out, if you want to send me a message, you want to see me respond in real time, hit that up. But oftentimes what we've been talking about lately is just because all these stores close, it doesn't mean the people that were shoplifting from them, that were making a living shoplifting from these stores, that were getting their next fix day in and day out from the sale of stolen goods from these stores. It doesn't mean those people give up just because their favorite store to shoplift from closed down. So what happens? Well, the rest of the community takes up the slack, and now stuff is getting stolen from the community members' houses, whatever other stores are left. And, the whole thing just kind of keeps on going because we're not putting these people in jail. We're not putting these people in treatment, and we're not putting these people in the psych ward where a lot of them probably should be. So there's that. So the Board of Supervisors president added there were many reasons for the closure, including Competition from Trader Joe's. See, we've hit that up twice. That's nonsense. That's just not the case. So competition from Trader Joe's. No. A retail theft? Yes. That is the primary cause, in my opinion, for so many of these decisions. It might not be the only cause, but it's certainly an overriding factor when you consider in how brazen so many of these shoplifting, deals have gone down. People just running in with guns, and people don't care anymore. They're just going to bring a big cart in and push that right out the front door, filled with meat or whatever. And, I'm not just saying that. That is happening on the daily. So whatever stores are left open in these types of communities, they're the ones, they're going to pick up the slack from a Safeway going under, right? They're going to pick up the slack. Now, you might say, well, hey, Sean, retail throughout the United States is, their numbers are way, way down. I mean, let's talk about Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's talk about Tuesday Afternoon. Let's talk about Victoria's Secret. Let's talk about any of these that have had either Chapter 11 or Chapter 7 or, some kind of bankruptcy deal going on because they simply can't make it in the face of the retail Armageddon that we are seeing happen with the transition to basically shopping from Amazon during the pandemic. People really shifted during that time period. And so stores that sell stuff in brick and mortar settings, that's what we're seeing shut down. And so these stores that are not only facing, retail Armageddon, but also facing the massive headwinds of shoplifting, meaning XYZ percentage of their profits, maybe all of their profits are going out the window or going out the door, quite literally. Those are the ones that we are seeing corporate, managers or whatever make the decision. All right. So if we got to shut some stores down because we're going to open some other ones, and with the majority of stuff that I talk about, what are left are corporations that are still making money. 10, 11, $12 billion sometimes in annual profits. I mean, it's insane the amount of money these stores are making. But then when it comes down, but because of that, because their shareholders know, all right, stores got to make money. When it comes down to management's time to whack the stores that aren't cutting it, the ones where you've got the most lenient of shoplifting rules, those are the ones that you're seeing consistently being closed down. Let's just take another quickie look here. Here's a slightly different perspective. Fisherman's Wharf Safeway announces it's closing permanently on May 27th. The closures of so many San Francisco Walgreens stores, a phenomenon that dates back to before the pandemic hit, I covered that, has been a national obsession of right-wing media. Well, yeah, you might just say reasonable people who don't want to have their shopping experience, mucked up with a bunch of people shoplifting from them. That doesn't make people feel comfortable, right? So, yeah, right-wing media, all that right-wing media is pointing out is that, hey, in these cities where you've got this kind of leadership, you seem to have an exponential number of stores that are closing due specifically to shoplifting. Walmart not, being an exception. Their CEO came right out and said, hey, we're going to close down some stores or we're going to raise your prices. If you got a lot of shoplifting going on, those are your two picks. What would you like to have happen? And people are like, but the parking lot is always full. How could we be shutting this store down? The parking lot is always full. Well, consider that about a quarter of those cars that are there, maybe more, maybe it's 30%, are there to shoplift things and to not pay for them. Weird. Interesting how that works, right? So it may be a quarter. I don't know what percentage of cars in the parking lot it is, but just because you have a busy store doesn't mean they're making money. And just because you have a busy store doesn't mean that some of that busyness isn't organized retail theft or isn't just straight up shoplifting. Just that 5-finger discount. This isn't mine. I'm not going to pay for it. Don't really care what happens, because a lot of times in the communities where this is really an ongoing deal, One of the reasons it's happening is because they know if they get busted, and they know if they get arrested, and they know if they get prosecuted, the judge at the end of the day is going to be super lenient on them, and they're probably not going to do any time. Maybe they do time served already, right? So that's what you are seeing time and time and time again to these, prolific offenders, and nothing's really happening. So, managers in stores, they understand what the deal is because they've been dealing with this time and time and time again. They're dealing with it all day long, and they know things aren't going to get any better unless you have more police, unless you have more prosecutors and more judges that are willing to put these people in jail, get them off the streets, get them out of this shoplifting deal, cool their jets. That's what I think you need to have happen in a lot of this stuff. But we're not going in that direction because that would be racist or something. You know what I mean? It's like, we can't throw people in jail. That's racist. That's no good. That's a terrible idea. What are you thinking about? Sean, we know that throwing people in jail doesn't work. Here's where I disagree with you. From a, fixing humanity standpoint, okay, incarcerating people, it might just be putting them in jail to make them super criminals, because when they come out, they've had 10 years of learning about how to basically to shank the system. But what also happens is if you got somebody that's shoplifting a lot and you take them out of circulation, and you do that a bunch, you start to clean things up because those folks aren't on the streets. You keep doing that, rinse, repeat. That's called actually enforcing the law. But so many of these communities don't have enough law anymore. They've gone to that. Well, if it's under $950 worth of value that you stole, it's a misdemeanor. I mean, basically a parking ticket. And these guys do not care about parking tickets because they've got their next drugs to buy and they're going to get their whatever. They're going to steal it from wherever. Safeway? Yeah, not anymore. It's closing up. So, but those closures have not previously hit the grocery store chain Safeway, a retailer that frankly has far less passive security guards and is much more proactive about locking up high theft items. I have seen that in Safeway, and that does make a lot of sense. But folks, a closure has arrived in the San Francisco Safeway scene. San Francisco Standard reopened Friday morning, reported Friday morning that the 350 Bay Street Safeway is closing May 27th. That publication adds that the 65 employees, okay, whatever. The Chronicle got a statement confirming the closure from a Safeway spokesperson. We continuously evaluate a bunch of corporate doublespeak. And they go on to say, well, it's definitely a bummer, but it's what's going on. So Safeway, a major, major grocery store in San Francisco, in an area where there's a lot of tourism, a lot of activity going on. This store is literally like 3 blocks up from Fisherman's Wharf. So you got a ton of people going here, right? Ton of people going here. But, San Francisco's got that reputation, kind of like Portland, where right now, not as many folks are going there. And certainly Portland and San Francisco are probably the poster childs for having fewest people back to their downtown core, fewest returnees from the whole work from home thing, because the downtown cores they've been ridden hard and they are not recovered. And it's stuff like this. It's the impact of tourism and everything else that you've got, where you've basically got a lawless society where shoplifting is just okay. It's just okay. Did you guys see the video about, it was wedding photographers, a guy from Texas. I think it was from Dallas. And, a couple of guys in masks and all black came up to try and rob him. And he basically said, no, you're not taking my camera. He got knocked down a bunch, but only because he was from Texas did he fight back. Everybody else would have been like, here's my camera. There you go. Well, they're recommending people don't do wedding photos and that was I want to say it was like the Palisades Park or something like that. It was a well-known park, and it's just kind of I'm going to go with northeast of where this Safeway is in San Francisco. So, yeah, Safeway. Will this be the new domino to fall in the retail apocalypse that has been accelerated by such a simple thing as shoplifting, but shoplifting in levels that we've never seen before? Organized retail theft, whatever you want to call it, however you want to get there. All the goods going out the front door. Will Safeway be the next one that I'll be, all right, in our 45th Safeway this year to be closing. No more grocery stores for you. You guys defunded the police and you legalized drugs and you decriminalized shoplifting. You decriminalized most, crime in general. And you voted in a bunch of knucklehead politicians. That's what you get. You get no more Safeway. You're all done. Go shop at Trader Joe's. Yeah. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We're dropping videos twice a day, Monday through Friday, one at 9 a.m., one at 11 a.m. I'm there on those premieres. Also check out our reasonabletv.com. It's our membership subscription, $10 a month, putting at least a couple of pieces of content there a week as well. So that's where the stuff goes that isn't making it through the other censorship. Thanks in advance for checking it out. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.